Hi there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand. And today I wanted to show you how to make this adorable Cookie Monster card with some of the new products from the new Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. I've seen lots of cards online by other people made with the Cookie Monster. And I've taken some of those ideas and kind of changed it and made it my own. And my inspiration for the colors was from Cookie Monster himself. So there we go. So that's my Cookie Monster, and he's got a little trumpet as well. And he sings. So that's where bye-bye Cookie Monster. That's where I got my inspiration for the colors for the reds and the blues, was from my Cookie Monster. I got him from Avon back when my oldest was a toddler, so over 20 years ago. So that's where I got my idea for the color scheme for this card. There's not a lot that you need to make this card. It's actually fairly simple, but it's adorable. So you obviously need the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. I'm using the cookie stamp, the words that say you're just like, where to go? You're just like, and then the inside is going to say you make everything better. So only 3 stamps, and then to make it even simpler, just one color. I'm just using the Early Espresso stamp pad. You need to have 3 different size punches, so whatever you happen to have that are different sizes. I think some of the ones I used are no longer available to purchase, but I used a 1/2 inch for the black part of the eyes, 3/4 inch for the white part of the eyes, and a 1.5 inch for the mouth. And then for the card base, you have your standard size card base. So here in New Zealand, it's a A6 card base, so that's an A5 piece scored in half to make an A6 card base. I have a piece of Whisper White for the inside, for the sentiment on the inside. Same size Real Red for the outside. Oh, my card base is Pacific Point color. So Real Red for the outside, matte. And then I've already gone and cut a Pacific Point circle using the Layering Circles framelit. So again, depending on what size you want your Cookie Monster head to be, choose a size that's appropriate. And then to do the rest of it, I've just layered up 3 rectangles. So Pacific Point, Early Espresso, and Real Red to it, and I'll stamp the words on the Real Red and then just layer that up just to give some contrast there. You need some scrap of crumb cake. This stamp set actually allows you to stamp the solid parts of the different designs. So you could use Whisper White and stamp the inside of the cookie with a solid piece, but I'm just stamping the outline in crumb cake, on crumb cake in Early Espresso, so I don't have to do the extra step for the inside. So as much scrap as you want for your cookies. So you definitely need 2 on the outside to make the O's, and then I did extras and just put some on the inside just to make it look cute. And then scrap piece of black for your eyes and your mouth, and scrap piece of Whisper White to do the eyes as well. And then you also use a scrap piece to cut out the letters. Now the letters, I use the new Playful Alphabet dies. So it's a lovely set of dies, has all the letters you need, including ones for doing other words in other languages, like there's the O and the E connected together. There's a little end bit for the C, I think that's for Spanish words. And then you have other symbols and little numbers. So it's a really great set. So for that one, you need a C, K, an I, an S, an E, and I use an exclamation point. You do not need to use the O because we'll be cutting our cookies to be the O. Then I also used from the Love You More Than die set. Just has lots of different words. So there's words and there's dies to cut the different shapes out. So I'm using the cookie shape. I could use the die to cut the word cookies out, but I wanted to emphasize it with the cookies themselves. So instead of using the words, I'm just doing the cookies to have O's for there. So let's get started. Oh, and the background here, I've used 2 embossing folders. So to give Cookie Monster some texture, I use the new, it's called the Old World Paper Embossing Folder. It's in the new annual catalog. And if you don't have that, you could just scrunch up your paper and then unfold it, and it'll give you kind of a wrinkly, rough look. I just thought that made him look a bit furry. The background, for this background here, I used a retired embossing folder called Swirls and Curls. But today I'm going to try it slightly different, and I'm going to use the tile texture, tin tile embossing folder. So I'm going to use that for the red and see how that looks. Okay, so we'll get started here. So the first thing you can do is your punching. So with your scrap, you could cut the circle out and then cut it down how you want, or if you have a straight edge, just put your circle, the larger circle, in as far as you want the mouth to go, so you have that straight edge there, and just punch that out. And then with the smallest punch, you want 2 pupils, so you're just going to punch out 2 little circles in the black. Sorry about the lighting, the sun's not cooperating. Now that one, I cut the edge off of it. We'll try again. There we go. That's 2 circles in the black. So that's all you need for the black. And then we're going to do 2 circles for the white for the center of the eyes. So there's 1 and 2. So there's our eyes. Now before I lose the eyes, I'm going to stick them together, because I'm sure I'll probably lose one of these circles. Now with Cookie Monster, his eyes always seem to go different ways, but so when you put them together, you want his eyes going different directions. Because if you remember, like me, when you grew up with Sesame Street, the eyes were always kind of wobbling everywhere. He had those really interesting wobbly eyes. So for now, we're just going to stick the eyes close to the edge. And then when we put him together, we'll have our eyes going weird ways. And there's his mouth. So that's his face. Now I'll do some stamping with my early Espresso ink pad. So on the little red, you always stamp before you stick things down, because if it doesn't look right on one side, turn it over. Get 2 sides to every piece of paper. So you're just like, so when you make this, I haven't given you any exact measurements because it depends on what sentiments you want to put on there. So when you make it, just cut your pieces to fit whatever you want the words to be. So in this case, if you want to know, that is 4 centimeters by 1 centimeter, that little red piece, and then the other ones I just layered up, I think, 1/2 centimeter bigger. So yeah, so that's the early Espresso is 4.5 by 1.5, and the Pacific Point is 5 by 2 centimeters. So just layered those up, and I'll glue those all together. The other stamping you want to do is the words on the inside. So you want to put, you make everything better on the inside. You could put something else on the inside if you want. Oh, did that kind of straight. Huh. Normally I do things crooked. Now, for the inside, if you actually want the little crumbs to show up, I stamped, and then when I put, see those little crumbs there? I stamped and then put the cookie over where I stamped, because the stamp itself has little crumbs, but when you cut out the die, you don't get the crumbs. So I'm going to stamp one time inside just so I can have the crumbs show up. And then when I stick my cookies there, I will cover that up. You could just leave that as is if you want, or color it in, or stamp it with the darker inside part. So that's my inside stamped. And then with the cookies, I'm going to stamp. I need at least 2 for the O's and then a few more for the inside. Now, as I said, you don't need the crumbs when you die cut it, so I can actually stamp it quite close to that edge and let the crumbs go off the side. And then another one for my O. Now those are probably a bit too close together, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to do a few to use on the inside. So this is a great project to use up some of your scraps. There we go. So I'll need to die cut those. So now that's all the stamping we have to do. So as I said, it's pretty quick and easy. So now I just need to do some die cutting and some embossing. So I've already gone ahead and die cut the letters. As I said, you're not using the O's. And if you have a look here, you can tuck them quite close to each other so you don't waste a big piece of cardstock. So as long as they're not overlapping, you can actually have all the letters next to each other, and then see, I've just die cut them. So just a scrap of early espresso to get your letters cut out. Now I'm just going to pause it while I go cut my cookies out. So unfortunately there's only one die, so I'll have to run this through 5 times to get all the cookies. Okay, so I'm back. Now I've embossed the folders as well. So I've gone with the tin tile folder for the background. You could use either side of that. And then, so see how it now makes the little Cookie Monster face with the old world paper one. It makes it look kind of wavy, like it's got fur. And then I've cut out 5 of my cookies. Now one of them was a bit close to the edge, so it's got a little divot in it. But that doesn't matter because I'm going to have that on the inside and it'll be covered up. You won't even see it. So there's my cookies. So we can get started with sticking everything down now. Let me get my tape and my glue. So we'll start with the inside and put these cookies down that I don't want to see. So for the inside, I'm going to be covering up. I'm going to be covering up the bites out of there. So I'm going to keep my 2 best ones for the front. Okay. And that. So you're not going to see those little bites. And then this one's going to be there so you can see the crumbs coming off of it. Actually, I think I'll put that there. So as long as the little bit out parts are covering this image here, you know you'll cover them up and you won't see them. So I'll just stick those down, bit of glue. And it just makes it look really kind of cute with the extra cookies on the inside. So, how many of you grew up with Cookie Monster? I remember him on Sesame Street in the mornings. I grew up in the U.S., so Sesame Street was a regular. And Cookie Monster, I know they've changed him now. They've made him more healthy, so he's not crazy over cookies like he used to be. But I missed that. Okay. So those are the 3 cookies on the inside. And then I can stick that in the card. I prefer to use tear and tape. Just makes it quick and easy to do. Just a strip. on either side. Don't need to go crazy with your tape. Nobody's going to be trying to pull it apart. And I do the tab method so I can line it up nicely, and if it doesn't line up nicely, I can pull it off and reline it. Make sure you have it going the right way up inside your card. And once you have it lined up the way you want, push down on the part that you've already removed the tape from and peel it away. There you go. That's the inside. Now the outside, I'm thinking I kind of like the pressed in, the debossed side better, so I think I'll put it that way. So I will use my tear and tape to put that on as well. Now because it's on the outside, I'm going to give it a little extra tape so the edges don't come apart. Sorry if you're wobbling there. I've got a new proper stand, but it appears to wobble when I bump the table. So I got a new phone and a new stand, and I'm trying to do my videos a bit slightly more professional than I used to. I don't know if you've noticed a difference, but this phone has a much longer battery life, so I don't have to worry about trying to piece videos together. In the past, I'd get partway done and I'd have to stop, take the video off the phone to free up the space or recharge it, and that you lose your momentum when you're doing videos that way. So this one hopefully is much better. Tape on the edge there. So now that I have it in place, I can then pull the tab away. There you go. So that's the background now. Now we'll layer these pieces up. Just a bit of glue on there. For these, I'm using glue, the Tombow, because it gives you wiggle room, so you can wiggle it into place. Because for here, I want to have kind of an even outline. I've obviously cut my blue longer than I needed to. So Tombow allows you wiggle room, so you can wiggle things into the spot you need. Unlike tape, once you stick it down, if it's not where you want it, you have to pull it up and you can ruin your whole project. So this just allows me to just gently adjust it to give it kind of a nice even border. Now I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. 2 should be fine. But I won't put that on yet because I need to put Cookie Monster and my words on. So I need to make sure I've got my words going in the right place. But I am going to be popping these guys up. So, Cookie Monster's face. I'm going to put his... so on my original one, I actually used dimensionals to pop those bits up to give it a bit more dimension. So I will do that again. The eyeballs. 1 dimension on each. And the mouth, that's where I like to use my little edge bits. I can cut those. Nice thing with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals is you can go and you can use all the little edge pieces if you want when you get down to that part of it. And quite often I'll just cut the dimensionals right in half. So I might go all the way up, so then I have more that are half size, and that gets better use out of your dimensionals, because quite often you don't need a full size one for the project that you're doing. So especially something like this little mouth here. I definitely don't need full-size ones on there. So I'm going to put a half there and a half there. Alright, so let's put his face together. So we'll start with his mouth and take the dimensionals off. So you can decide which way you want his fur going. I'm actually going to turn it this way because then I can cover up some of the empty spot. Pop his mouth there, and then the eyeballs. So I'm going to take the backs off both of them so I can decide which kind of crazy look I want. So we'll do one crazy eyeball going that way, and then we'll do one crazy eyeball maybe this way. This time I'm going to overlap them a bit. So the googly eyes of Cookie Monster. Now I'm wondering if I'll do the opposite way. No, I think I'll go this way because I want him to be close to the cookies. So you can use tape, but because it's an uneven surface, I'm going to use a decent amount of glue on the back of Cookie Monster. Sorry about the shiny sunshine. So I'm just putting him here at an angle just because I think it'll look cuter that way. Now here's the part where you have to decide how you want your words to go. So plan it out first. So you could have the O's totally separate, you know. I don't put them that way because they look more like C's, so I'll put them there. And then figure out how you want it. You could go straight across, but because Cookie Monster is kind of a crazy cookie monster, I like to do the words at an angle. And they're all capital letters in this set. And they have punctuation as well. So some people have got the set and thought, why is there a lowercase I? But it's actually an exclamation point. It's not a lowercase I. So, and I've got my S upside down, I just noticed. So something like that. Figure out how you want it to go, or we can overlap the cookies. I'm thinking maybe like that. Then my suggestion for this is start at the end and work your way back. Because if you start here and you put it too wide, you won't have enough room for the rest of your letters. So if you're doing anything with a lot of letters, start where the side with most of the letters and work your way to the other, because I can adjust my O's if necessary. The other thing too is if you have something really tiny like the little dot for the exclamation point, instead of trying to put the glue on the dot and then stick the dot down, just put a tiny bit of glue where you want it to go, and then you can just simply stick it into your spot. The other thing is if you don't have nails or tweezers or something to hold it, use our take your pick tool, because we have the putty end on the take your pick tool, and then you can just simply poke the item there. And so here I'm just going to put a little, I know where it's going to go, so that's a straight line, so I'm just going to put a little straight line there and then pop my exclamation point in place. You don't need the exclamation point, but I always imagine Cookie Monster going, "Cookies!" really loud, so that's why I thought exclamation point would work well with him. So I'm just putting some glue on the back of the letters and popping them down. Up. And that way, working backwards, you can space things better if you want. So you could just go straight across. It depends on how you want your words to look. Not a lot of glue necessary. Up. And try to spell it right, although Cookie Monster probably doesn't know how to spell, but when you're going backwards, trying to remember how to spell things can be difficult. Oh, it stuck to my finger. So I hope you like the colors here. You could go crazy and do them in different colors, you know, pinks or blacks or greens, whatever you like. You could color your cookies in if you wanted to. So now that I've got that done, I can then position my cookies in such a way to make it look like O's. So I might pop that guy maybe there, and the other cookie there. And so now that I've got my cookies placed, then I know where the C needs to go. You could do this project with some googly eyes too if you want. Instead, if you don't have the punch or you want to make it more fun and interactive, put some googly eyes right there, you know, the shaking kind. Okay, and then once you have that done, then you can pop your words wherever you want. So we'll just pop these words up and we'll be done with our card. So you could have different sayings on here because the stamp set has a lot of interesting sayings. It's got today's plan, consume, and it could be cookies. You could have cookies and be awesome. It's a cookies kind of day, that kind of thing. So, lots of choices for there. So there's our Cookie Monster done. And here's the original Cookie Monster with the different different embossing folder in the background. So this one's done with the tin tile. I just did embossing on the red because it just was too solid and I didn't think it jumped out at you as much. And then you make everything better. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Your cookie set, Cookie Monster cards. So please give me a thumbs up if you did. You can have a look at my blog for more details about this project and other ones. If you are in New Zealand and don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you'd like to purchase any of the products to make these cards, please go to my website, michellekritchley.stampinup.net. You can click on the shop and see all the projects there. I will be listing all the products used for this below in the description of this video, so you can go there and find the products code numbers and then go ahead and order from there. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe, so if you want to see more videos in the future, you will be notified when I have more out. And if there's something you'd like to see me make, please make a comment, send me a message, an email or a message through my website, and I'd be happy to give it a try. I hope you've enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.